Okay, let's go.
Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. This is Southeastern Sports Network podcast, jumping along into, what is this, Mark, week 4 now, or 5 of Southeastern Camp? I think week 4 of just doing this.
Going to week 4.
Yeah, of Southeastern football camp as the Lions prepare to open the season on August 30th against the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in Ruston, Louisiana, 6:30 kickoff. And Mark, then will be here before we know it. Just 2 weeks from 12 days away now from the start of the Southeastern College football season, and they get some games this Saturday, the week 0 games. One obviously big game of note is UIW travels to Thibodaux to take on the Colonels. Is that a noon kickoff, Mark, or 1 o'clock?
Noon. It'll be
noon
There's
kickoff.
a host of games going on. A couple of more FCS games as well. I think Tarleton State's playing it. I think maybe 3 or something right after that against Portland State, I think. And there's some other games. So week 0 is going to become a standard deal and something that Southland Conference team is going to try to aspire to get on television. So big day for Nichols and UIW and the Southland Conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime you get a chance to showcase your program on national TV, no matter what the situation, when you're at the FCS level, it's a big deal, and that's exciting for the program and the conference, as you said. So, diving into the Lions, Mark, practice has been pretty solid, good, consistent. Everything that we've heard coming out of there is that the team is playing well. I talked to some guys who, former players, over the last couple of days who did the Feed the Team, which is something that's been going on for a while now. Former players get together, they cook a big meal for the team. I think they feed them underneath in the parking garage there in the cover, at least they have in the past. And Coach Selfo talked to the former players and everybody who volunteered that day. And you can, the thing some guys that are, as engaged and into it as you and I are, a lot of our fans are, but some guys that kind of are, not as engaged before the season. They kind of just dive in for the first game. But talking to both guys that are in kind of each one of those categories, they both felt like hearing from Coach Selfo that he is extremely confident about this team and, feels there's a chance that his team can go 3-1 in non-conference play heading into UTRGV and Strawberry Stadium to open up the conference. So that's a perfect scenario. We've talked about that. We've went over the non-conference schedule, but they were fired up and excited to hear him as confident as he was about his team and what they have potential-wise this season from a win and loss perspective.
He has every right to be confident because, the thing is, have there been more talented teams on defense since Southeastern brought football back? Yeah, probably 2014. I would think maybe 2015. Have there been more talented offenses? Yeah. 2021 obviously comes to mind, 2020 with Cole Kelly. But collectively, when you put offense and defense together, I'm not sure there's been a more complete team than this one as far as you got veterans at every level. You've got depth. You've got good football players. You've got leaders, the whole package. You got the locker room, the whole thing with this football team. You have guys who've been here. This is not a team that was you pluck a transfer here, pluck a transfer there, plug it all together, just throw a bunch of talent out there. These are guys that have grown up in this program. And Frank Selfo knows his football team. And I will tell you, if anybody that knows Frank Selfo, that talks to him, that spends any time around him, prior to every year, you can get a pretty good read on what he thinks his football team is going to be. And he's usually dead on it. I know 2 years ago in 2023, he felt that team was going to struggle, and privately, and they did because he knew where the issues were. And then last year felt like they were going to be a lot better, but the schedule was tough. And you come out, you go 7-5, and you're basically a field goal away from winning the conference championship and making the playoffs again. And this year, the vibe is very confident that they're going to have a good team. Now you got to go out each week and prove it on the field. It's not going to just be handed to you, and other teams are good too. We talk about that. This is not the only football team that's got talent. I know SFA feels like this is their best team. I know Lamar feels like this is their best team ever. UIW is always good. Nichols feels like they're improved. McNeese feels like they're improved. So you start looking down the conference, and I think everybody is optimistic coming into 2025. So but yeah, the confidence is there, and it's been a great camp. We'll dive into it. We'll talk about each position group and that sort of thing, and go from there. But yeah, 2 weeks away.
Yeah, look, I mean, the Southland Conference was a weak league. I think going back to started to kind of go down that road in 2019. You lost some teams. McNeese obviously dealt with the hurricane the next year. They've kind of fallen off. Took a while for them to really build back. You look at SFA left the league. UCA left the league after the 2019 season. So you started this downward trend, and Lamar struggled. Northwestern's been bad. Nichols and Southeastern and UIW have really only been it's kind of been a three-headed monster league going back to 2020, and that's we're kind of coming out of that. These new programs like McNeese and with SFA coming back in the league, and Lamar with what they're trying to invest in their football program weren't going to stay down like that forever, and so you've seen this slow ascension back to the top, and that's kind of where we are, I think, right now, and it's a deeper league than ever. And I think that goes back to what you said last week, that this league, is a deserving two bid league this year. I don't see three right now, but I do think this league, if everything kind of pans out, will be a two-team league again in the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's going to get two this year. I just think the way the schedule lays out, it's set up for that. Now, who the two are going to be still remains to be seen. Hopefully, Southeastern's one of them. This team, I would just tell you, based off of if you played it on the field and you compared it to other leagues, this team should have got three in last year. You only got one, but between UIW, Southeastern, and SFA, and then you could even include Lamar in there. If you line them up against other teams, other leagues, there weren't three or four better teams. Now, obviously, the Big Sky and Missouri Valley, no question. But I thought the CAA was overrated. Honestly, I feel like the Big Sky was top heavy, more or less. And, certainly leagues like the SoCon and UAC and all that, I feel like this league would have stacked it right up with them. Of course, Southeastern lost a tough one on the road to the UAC champion. So, but you got one team in because the perception is the league's not good. But I think that's going to change somewhat this year.
But you got to go win the non-conference games. I mean, you go back to week 0 last year. McNeese, we should have beat Tarleton, blew it. Southeastern loses to Tarleton. Those are games that, kind of get stacked. Sacramento State comes out and blows out Nicholls State last year.
But you did have some good wins. You had SFA had some non-conference wins.
No, I'm just saying, like in a broad sense, you weren't winning.
Yeah.
You weren't winning those non-conference games on a consistent basis. You were getting, the Lions got dominated by South Dakota State, and that just kind of hurts the perception a little bit.
But they dominate everybody. it's so.
Well, no, I'm just saying that's why you got one team in. At the end of the day, to get more, you've got to win those non-conference games and show yourself when you have those opportunities. And I think that, like you said, looking at the kind of the slate this year, I think that's going to be an opportunity for Southland teams to prove themselves in FCS cross-conference games and non-conference. I think that'll certainly help us on Selection Sunday.
Well, no question. You got to win. It's fair game. That's the nature of college football. But
yeah,
I do think on the field, this team, if you compare it against, again, take the Missouri Valley out of it, take the top of the Big Sky out of it, this league's going to compete with anybody else. But that's our opinion. That's what we think, and it is what it is. But bottom line is, this football team has had a good camp. Camp is wrapped up. What we call camp, and everybody says, "What is fall camp?" Well, fall camp, it used to be in the old days. It's when you got in shape to play. You basically came in early. Guys, you weren't on campus like they are now all during the summer, and so really you were trying to get weight off guys that were that didn't work out, and get their lungs built up and the whole thing. But now that's already done. These guys show up ready to play. This is a veteran group, so they were in mid-season mode practice-wise day one. You had to go through the acclimation process once you got in the full pads, but it's really been focused on the season, short, concise practices. Trying to keep people healthy. Obviously it's been hot. South Louisiana, they practice on the turf every day. But I felt like the training staff and Coach Selfo and his staff did a great job keeping this team, focused, short, concise practices, and by and large are healthy. A couple of dings here and there, but that happens every year. But this is a healthy football team. It's focused. It's ready, and that's kind of where we are.
No, there's no doubt about it. So, Mark, we're going to hit today quickly the interiors of these lines, kind of previewing them a little bit, offensive and defensive lines. I think Coach Selfo talks about how he's about as fired up as he's been about the way these groups are playing. Obviously, you have a new offensive line coach with A.J. Hott moving to Sam Houston State. You have Tom Rinaldi back as a defensive line coach for Southeastern. He's been here for a long time. Was a GA and then kind of moved into the defensive line position. He's done a nice job. So we'll start with the offensive line. It's a veteran group coming back. I think they have depth. I mean, how many guys you think are going to play in and through the season along the offensive line?
Well, you're realistic. I mean, typically any offensive line, you want to play your starters most of the time for continuity purposes, but typically you'll roll 7, 8. That's what most normal teams do, because that's what the depth they have. Most teams only have 7 or 8 guys capable of playing. I truly believe there are 10. You're not going to take the starters completely out, substitute 5 new guys, and have exactly the same caliber of offensive line. I don't think they're not that deep. Nobody is, but you can take any of the 5 backups, plug 1 or 2 of them in at a time, and you're not going to miss a beat. There's some young guys in the backup roles that I think are going to be really good football players, and when it's their time to take over, assuming they're still here, with the transfer portal, this offensive line is going to continue to be good. But it's going to start up front in the middle, and Holden Karakowski, he's one of those senior 6 guys. The guys have been here 6 years in a Southeastern uniform with COVID and all that. Walked on out of De La Salle High School, and this will be his 2nd full year as a starter. And for me, I thought he was the best center in the league last year. I definitely think he's the best center in the league this year, and probably one of the best in the country. He's having a great camp. He is the most underrated player out there, I think. It all starts with him. And Antonio Martin didn't rush for 1,200 yards last year by accident. And you have a guy like Holden Karakowski who gets you in the right play call, the right line calls, just runs the show. And then he's flanked on either side by Javin Turner, who's another 6-year player, and also Corin Boudreaux is in year number 4, I think. And those guys just anchor the inside. And they're all 300 pounds and can run and athletic, allow very little penetration up the middle in the quarterback's face, can get to the second level in the running game. So that's where it all starts. I guess where the question marks are the tackles. We talked about this a couple pods ago, but Logan Potter is going to take over at left tackle. And this is a massive human being. He's about 6'5", 330-ish, 340, something like that. And he can move for a big guy. A little bit inconsistent with his footwork. That's got to continue to prove. But he gets his mitts on you, he moves you. He is an earth mover and a really good run blocker. At times, very good in pass pro. It's a little bit inconsistent, but he's going to anchor that left side. And then on the right side, it's Noah Devlin, who's another 5-6-year player here at Southeastern. And he played really well in a backup role last year. Him and Potter both did. They both started games late. So that's going to be your starters. A guy I'm really excited about is Isaiah Hayes. He is a redshirt freshman left tackle, true tackle. This guy is long, very athletic, great feet. I think he's definitely going to be the future here at Southeastern. He's going to play a lot this year, I think. And you got a couple of young guys inside, and Amiri Alexander's lost a bunch of weight. He looks really good. Inside tackle or guard Riley Witten's another in a backup role. Those guys could step in and play if they had to. So that's kind of where we are in the offensive line. So I mean, Carson Dillashaw, 6'6", tall, rangy kid who's a converted defensive player, will probably be the backup right tackle. He'll also back up some at left as well. another, just a really good player. And then Breland Curry's your backup center. So, again, Coach Selfo feels like he's got 10. I don't know if he'll play 10. It's just probably not realistic on a consistent basis, but I think you're going to play 7 or 8 for sure.
Defensive line, Mark, good group last year. Some good players coming back. Some guys that I know the coaching staff's excited about, and was a consistently had some dominating games last year, especially in Southland Conference play. They're going to return some guys that have made some big strides in the offseason, and I think that this group has a chance to be really, really good for this team.
Yeah, we've talked about Caleb Proctor before. This guy's in his 4th year. It's hard to believe he's a senior already, but he's been a mainstay here at Southeastern since his freshman year. Got on the field immediately, became a starter in year 2. Now in his 3rd year as a full-time starter, and he just continues to ramp up and get better and better and better. And to me, he has kind of the perfect. He's not the biggest guy, he's not the smallest, but he's almost perfect in the Southland Conference and FCS. This guy has probably had, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 NFL teams rolling through here this fall to see him. A tremendous makeup guy, leadership, has his body in great shape. He's 6'2", maybe 6'3". I think we list him at 6'3", 280, 285. And he just sheds blocks, lives in the backfield, can chase sideline to sideline, can rush the passer from inside, which is difficult to find guys like that at the FCS level. So he's a guy that can reestablish the line of scrimmage. And beside him is Ahmad Bradley, who came here as an offensive lineman. He actually started at guard some at the Naval Academy in 2022, transferred here in 23, had to sit out because of the transfer academic.
Yeah, definitely stood out in a couple games last year for sure.
Then he ended up starting because Peyton Anderson had an injury. So he's gotten a lot better because it's his 2nd year. He's lost some weight, moving well, but he's still about 320, 330. Just a big run stuffer in the middle. And then on the outside, that's kind of where, the issues are at defensive end. Who's going to be the new defensive ends with graduation of Warren Peoples and Jamar Pearl. But I think you got a big find in Khalid Moore, who will remind people a lot of Warren Peoples. But he's very athletic, can get to the quarterback and chase. And then on the other side, Roland Briggs is back for his senior year. And he just continues to improve every year. He's like Proctor. He just gets better every year, and he'll be the mainstay on that other side. So, and Josh Randall will be the pass rush guy with the speed off the edge. So and then Evan Aubrey's a kid I think is going to step up as a redshirt freshman and see some time.
Mark, question for you. Through camp, you've been to most of the practices. Any player or position group that when you first got out there a few weeks ago, you said, this is a group that's got to get better if we're going to be good. And you've seen that develop in practice from the first day to now. That's just gotten better with the reps that they're taking in camp out there so far.
Well, I think they've all gotten better. I wouldn't say that. Well, this is probably the kind of one reason why I think everybody's fairly confident it's going to be a good year is there really was no position group that you felt like was in trouble. We got to hide this position. Every position group had veterans. Every position group has depth. That doesn't mean it's the most talented player that's ever lined up at Southeastern. That's not what we're saying. But you feel good about it. You feel good about the secondary. You feel good about quarterback. I think would be the one just because they haven't been here. You have 2 transfers coming in, and Carson Camp and Kyle Lowe. So you always want to see how they handle their first fall camp. Of course, they both went through the spring, and it's been a great competition. I think both are capable of leading this team, and I think both will play. To me, Carson Camp has been more consistent. I think he's got a chance to have a great year and be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the country. He's very talented. He's coming off an injury. Looks healthy. Kyle Lowe is very athletic. This guy can run the football. He can do some things in the running game, can really throw the football as well. But I do think both will play. And that's probably the one position that if you had questions coming in, that would be it, just because they haven't been here. But I think it's an upgrade at the position. The wide receivers, again, that's another one. Last year we had no depth. This year we got a ton of depth. That position's upgraded. Running back would be one. You lose Antonio Martin, so who's going to be the running back? I think that's going to be that's probably the position because it's going to be a committee position. There's no one workhorse that's going to turn around and hand it to 20, 25 times. He's going to run for 100 plus. Now, you may get a 100-yard game here and there out of somebody, Jaden Henry or Rodeo Graham, DeAndre Jackson, and true freshman C.J. Smith is very impressive. But I think that's going to be a committee position. And you're going to see a lot of wide receiver running game as well, as you always do in this offense. Guys that can run with the football in their hand. So it's tight ends. Got some good tight ends. I think there's 4 that are capable of playing and producing. So it's a deep roster with good football players, and you expect to have a good season.
Yeah, I think that's it. Hitting the nail on the head there, Mark. I like that analysis. I think that kicker was one for me that's kind of stood out. Riley had a great year last year, got in the portal. So I'm interested to see the kicking group and how they do through the season because, Riley had his struggles in 2023. I mean, about as bad as as good as he was in 22 coming in relief at the back end of the year. He really struggled in 23, but came back last year and had a great season kicking the football. He's gone. So
if you watch, I guess I don't have that concern because I watch him kick every day in practice.
Oh, I'm saying coming into the season, that was my concern.
Yeah, you would. I mean,
you wanted to see what that was going to be.
But you bring in an All-American who was probably as good as anybody in the country last year. He made 4 kicks over 50 yards, 20 to 26. I think 17 of them were 40 and out. And Guillermo Garcia. The guy is super talented. He's got leg talent. And then you got a freshman from down the road in Drew Talley who's as good as he is. I mean, you could probably kick either one of them and have the leg talent. One's older, obviously a senior, and the other is a freshman. But they've both been extremely accurate in camp. I think one miss, there was a block. And then I think there was one other miss that I can remember. And everything else right through the pipes.
Yeah.
That's in team, when they're doing 11 on 11. It's been a really good camp for both of them. And obviously Alec Mahler's back at punter. This has always been a good special teams group under Ross Jenkins. They cover kicks. They've always punted well. Field goals have been up and down over the years, but the last couple of years with Callahan and now this new group, I think, that's in good hands. And they've got 3 guys that can kick it out of the end zone on kickoff. So it's I expect special teams to be a strength.
Mark, great job as always. Good breaking it down. We'll talk again next week. Special guest next week as we start previewing the 2025 kickoff of the season in Louisiana Tech, 6:30 on August 30th. Excited to have you there for that one. Should be great. Don't forget, fans, please, if you haven't yet, look into Coach Selfo's NIL program. $25 a month. We've talked about it enough. So I know people listening are probably tired of hearing it from us, but can't stress enough how important it is. If you haven't looked into it, please do. It's allinlinesports.net. The collective has its own website. It's on social media. $25 a month. That's all they're asking. It's going to go straight to the NIL program at Southeastern, which is much needed for all the sports.
And if you can't do $25 a month, do something.
They'll take anything from you that you can give. And if you give more, awesome.
One-shot deal of $100, $50, whatever it is, just get in the game and don't sit on the sidelines and don't be a zero. We talked about that last time.
Yep. Just help when you can.
Yes, help do what you can and help this program grow. You got new facilities coming online in the south end zone. That's going to be outstanding. You're going to see this program really start to grow as this league continues to grow, and the fan base has got to get on board with it because it's a great product when things are going well and you're winning football games in America.
No doubt about it. Lineup Collective, check it out. Give what you can. You can see it right there on our screen. More about it is always available on linesports.net as well through the collective to help grow the NIL fund in Southeastern. So great job as always, Mark. Thanks for jumping on. We'll have our special guest next week. We'll preview that during the week.
As we get with Bleed Tech Blue, I believe.
Yes, he'll be here and visiting, talking all things Bulldogs, getting ready for the season. It's almost here, folks. Less than 2 weeks away from the kickoff of the 2025 season. Obviously, we talked about games coming up this weekend, but the Lions start on August 30th, 6:30 in Ruston against Louisiana Tech. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. This has been the Southeastern Sports Network podcast from Mark Willoughby and Robbie Rhodes. Have a great day. Line up as always. We'll see you next time.